Alright, welcome back everybody. One more race tonight. It's gonna happen. I know last night we tried to do the rebroadcast and it failed. And it probably won't happen again, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I got everything loaded up, everything's on deck, we're ready to go. Before anybody asks, it is in fact a pre-recorded race. Help me out in the chat if anybody comes in asking the dastardly question. Feel free to let them know for me. But Fruit Loop, Source, two heavy contenders in this tournament. Fruit Loop with a bit of a PV disadvantage, but definitely going to be trying to bat above average here. And we will have to see how things go. I'm going to go ahead and cut the music. We're going to get things rocking and rolling. Hopefully things can get synced without me completely breaking everything, but DLC is being temperamental, so we'll see what happens. Amazing, magical, truly remarkable. We've made it past the real scary part, so that's excellent. We're going in hard and fast. In the speedrun racing, I'm ready to go. One is for all the marbles. As someone asked earlier, is there a lower bracket? There in fact is not. This is a single elimination tournament, so if you get knocked out, that is it. You are out of the tournament. A bit of a more rapid fire sort of situation. There's a good contrast, I think. A lot of tournaments, you know, they tend to drag on for a little bit. This one is intended to be a little bit more cut and dry, get straight to the point, find the winner. We're going to get into some pretty heavy-hitting matches here soon. We've already had some pretty strong matchups with runners competing at very high levels, but we've got runners in this tournament with, you know, 113s in this category. It'll be interesting to see them get in the mix, see what's going on. Cap Kingdom obviously not too enthralling, got some very basic stuff. You can do some fancy things with the frog movement. See some vectoring here from Source as he makes his way through the room. As with anything in speedrunning, there's always optimizations, no matter how simple the room, no matter how simple the movement. Always something else to learn, something to improve on. And we already see Source28 pulling out ahead, which is quite impressive considering the fact that the game is only, you know, a minute 45 of the way through. We'll see if that trend continues. I think not. I think we can see Fruit Loop pull this one back. Gonna be an uphill battle though. Fruit Loop has a pretty hefty contender on their hands. Source28. Kind of crazy at this video game. Runs a lot of categories. Pretty involved with the community. It's a good way to get out there and, you know, make a name for yourself in these tournaments. You bop a heavy hitter, especially in the early rounds, you know, surprise, turn some heads. Can definitely be a big deal. As we're heading into Cascade, I gotta remind you guys, I know we've been talking about it a lot, but I'm really excited about our partnership with UAP. They're giving us a lot of prize pool money to run these tournaments. And they're also doing a lot of good for the world out there, and the gaming community in general. Sending a lot of kids who otherwise wouldn't be able to college, doing a lot of prep work to get them up to speed to the point where, you know, they can do their SAT, ACT, all those sorts of tests. Give them some background learning. They got a School of Interactive Arts, which teaches them hands-on how to do some of the aspects of game design right there. So really great stuff for the community in general. Can't say enough positive things about UAP and what they're doing for us here at GSA, so shout outs to them. Getting into the meat and potatoes here in Cascade. Gonna be heading up to the dyno here, doing dyno skip. Source not opting to go for DSS, no surprise there. Don't think he often does it in runs anyways. Very high level trick, very easy to fail, and doesn't save too much time, but it is quite flashy. We would like to see it coming up in some future matches. And Fruit Loop nailing the dyno skip as well, so nice job from Fruit Loop. Keep it up here, you know, still in the brutal fight. It's going to be difficult with the things up ahead for fr00pl00p to really keep in contention here. There's a lot of possibility for time loss, especially in, you know, sand. There's a lot of more movement going on, and Cascade is basically just, you know, general movement up to Dino Skip and having a solid Madame Brutal fight, which fr00pl00p, she's doing a pretty good job with that Madame Brutal. The strats were good, the fast captures. Definitely not out of this one yet. But, I mean, even if fr00pl00p isn't able to pull a match off against Source28 here, definitely able to show her stuff in a category which a lot of these runners aren't super familiar with. It's one of the more fun aspects of this tournament is, you know, a lot of these runners are either running any percent or dark side, darker side. World Peace hasn't been getting as much love until recently. GSA tournament kind of popping off, honestly. I'm not trying to take too much credit here, but I mean, world records getting broken. We see lots of people running the category. It's been a good time for World Peace, that is. From an outside perspective, I feel like it's a bit of an underrated category. So far, though, just kind of keeping par with any percent in terms of the routing here. We'll see some differences up in sand, as we're going to have to be climbing up to the top of the inverted pyramid, which we would not do in any percent. Very, very slow. Doesn't serve much of a purpose other than, you know, saving the world, which, who cares about that? I mean, any percent is all about, you know, going fast, taking names, taking moons, and getting out of dodge as quickly as possible. But in World Peace, we gotta get every single main objective. So in sand, we got to take out the Knuckle Tech boss, which is quite important. Pretty cool boss, too. Lots of different opportunities for routing differences as well in World Peace. Got a lot of varying levels of comfort between the runners and what they want to do in these runs. And we're going to see Source28 heading up to grab this moon here at the top of the church belt. Unfortunately taking a bit of a bonk there, but not a huge deal. fr00pl00p right behind him, going to be heading down. Going to take the umbrella instead. This race was supposed to be live yesterday. We had a bit of technical difficulty, so it's being rebroadcast today. Going to be collecting this burb here, getting a little bit of jump off the icicle action. And it looks like fr00pl00p's going to be opting to go for the Dune Moon. We'll see if Source is able to nail this dram here. Pretty hard dram, the bullet bill dram. Collecting the moon should work. Saving quite a bit of time there. Optimally, you would get that dram. If you're a bit slower, not comfortable with it, you can also do a bit of a climb over the icicles, but again, quite a bit slower. So Source saving a bit of time there. We'll see if fr00pl00p is able to clap back, but actually going for a much different route here. Going to be heading over to grab, I'm guessing, the this box. Yep, in fact, is going to be grabbing the box, and we're seeing IP skip here from Source, which, or excuse me, IP clip, which is not the most advanced strat you can do in the category, but it is a pretty necessary trick to do. It lets you clip inside of the inverted pyramid early. Oh, and going to be re-entering the pipe. All right. Bit of a monk moment there from Source, but not a huge deal again. Only a few, like, fleeting mistakes here from Source28, which aren't huge deals in the grand scheme of things, especially considering the lead that he's got over fr00pl00p. Yeah, this game is quite long. I mean, 880 unique moons in this video game. I think myself, I've only collected like 600 or so. Granted, I've not gamed too hard in the post-game content, but there's a lot to explore, a lot to do. And very few moons are, you know, not interesting, I should say. I think the achievement moons are a bit of a meme, but they're interesting in their own right. They definitely give a bit of an interesting aspect in terms of the longer categories, but it looks like fr00pl00p going to be nailing that IP clip, no problem. I'm glad we haven't seen any IP clip meltdowns. Like I said before, IP clip is not the hardest strat. IP skip will skip the entire inverted pyramid. However, it is quite a bit more difficult, and even though it's an easier strat, IP clip is not free. I mean, you gotta get a roll cancel boost through the door. It's pretty tricky. The timing is not so forgiving, and Fruit Loop gonna be grabbing that moon around the corner, which typically wouldn't see in this kingdom, but again, going for a bit of a beginner route here. Nothing wrong with that. One of the most important things to do in speedrun races is do what you're comfortable with. Don't, try to go for broke and try to save too much time. Unless you're hoping for a miracle, but in all reality, it's most likely that you're going to do your best in terms of the placement in the race if you do what you're comfortable with. If you get the consistent strategies you know how to do, things you've practiced. And that's what we're seeing Fruit do here, which, going up against a game like Source, you're not going to be able to pull ahead here, but certainly not out of the running yet. And it's an uphill battle for some of these lower qualifying participants. We had the two participants coming out of the qualifiers having to go against Stravos and Hay there in the first round. Big shoes to fill, big mountains to climb, but at the end of the day, it's pretty cool to say at the bare minimum that you were able to race those people in a 1v1 situation. Especially if you're able to put up a good fight. We see Source grabbing that box moon that Fruit got earlier, and we're going to do a bit of juggling with the bullet bills here, hopefully. We're going to go ahead and spawn that. Okay. Interesting strats. Perhaps getting a bit confused on the order of operations here, but does, in fact, collect the moon, which is what matters. Fruit's going to be lifting up that inverted pyramid, which does open up a sub-area underground, which is very important. That's where we're going to meet Knuckle Tech and collect a few extra moons, which will let us escape with the Odyssey. Move on to the next kingdom. Yeah, so the times next to the runners' names are their current PBs. As far as I know. Try to keep those things up to date, but when the runners aren't in the chat themselves, it's hard to specifically ask them. Yeah, totally sick movement out of both players, I agree. Even on the side of Fruit Loop. It's easy to look at the times and think, oh wow, this gamer must not know what they're doing. But if you watch the movement, they certainly are coming in with a plan. They know what they're doing. Might not be the fastest strategies possible. Oh, but Source28 taking a mega death here, opening up a really big window for Fruit Loop. We'll have to see if Fruit Loop can convert here on the movement through the room. This is a tricky room. We've seen players struggle with it already in the first round of the tournament, and Fruit Loop does capture that bullet bill, so looking good to be completing this room without a death, and going to be pulling up to the Knuckle Tech fight right behind Source28. It's all of a sudden very close. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes in speedrun racing. You could have a better PB, you can have the better strats, but if you take a death and your opponent does not, we're seeing the comfy, consistent strategies keeping up with some faster ones. That's pretty cool to see. Yeah, very close race so far. I was definitely not expecting, I'm sitting here talking up Fruit Loop, and, it'd be really cool to see a comeback, but of course you never expect it until it happens. We saw it earlier today. We saw, a racer 2 minutes behind and coming all the way back in the late game, just sticking through it, not giving up. Very good to see. Commentator, incredibly slow at choosing outcomes and predictions. Kind of doesn't care about gambling, I'm not going to lie. Let me go ahead and close that. Luckily, the race is still pretty close and pretty soon, or pretty near the beginning. So we'll go ahead and get another prediction going for the fans out there. Both runners dispatching a Knuckle Tech at about the same time. You love to see it. I think probably my favorite part of the tournament so far is in the qualifiers finals, when we had 4 people in the festival at once. That was pretty cool to see. I did not expect to have that close of a qualifier final. Especially with the fact we had some runners in the qualifiers who quite honestly didn't belong there. There were some runners in the finals that are just like any % gods, but they just don't run world peace. So I think those will be interesting to watch. I mean, Xylex versus Stravos, I think people underestimate, you know, Xylex's power. People underestimate Source going up against Hey There. Or, excuse me, Speed going up against Hey There. Speed's probably one of my favorite, like... I don't want to say unknown, because everyone knows Speed, but, like, as far as, like, you know, big streamer clout goes, I don't think as many people know about Speed. People might underestimate him. I think Hey There versus Speed is honestly a match that you want to keep your eyes on. And I'm not even saying that because I know the results. I have no idea the results. It is going to be a pre-recorded race because Speed was out of town this weekend, but I don't know the results. Try to keep out of that as much as possible. Yeah, it's... See, the trick with keeping the PBs current on the overlays is, you know, we try to keep things up to date. We try to have all of them in a spreadsheet so that we can just reference it. But players PBing all the time, going off of SRC isn't always the best, just because, you know, some players, they won't either submit or it might take some time to verify. So we do our best here to give some indication of the general skill level of these players, but you know, PBs aren't the end-all be-all anyways. Oh, and Source28 failing Dilly P clip right there. Missed the skip, didn't get the clip, bonking right into the nose. Dilly P 1, Source28 0. But as I was saying, you know, you could sit there and reset over and over and over again and get a sick time, but if you aren't consistent at your strategies, you will just get completely shredded in a no-reset race. No negative connotations were taken. Don't worry about that. Source28 into the Rango fight here. Actually a little bit behind fr00pl00p. fr00pl00p taking the lead here for at least the moment. That failed fish jump. Although the backup was solid, backups are important. Source28 losing a lot of time in the early game here and letting fr00pl00p take a bit of an early lead. Not something you would expect much of a PB difference. I mean, 5 minutes difference on the clock. In terms of PBs that I have on hand. That's insane. Yeah, definitely not how I expected this race to go, but I'm glad that I'm stuck here on the solo comms at this moment. Speaking of being stuck on the solo comms, if you would like to help out at all with these tournaments, perhaps with some commentary, some stat tracking, even helping on the restreams, the more help we get, the more tournaments we can run. Believe it or not, the issue with running these tournaments isn't so much securing the prize pools, it is literally the manpower. You know, getting prize pools is one thing, but, you know, GSA is not out here with enough capital to be, you know, hiring professional stream production teams or anything like that. It is more than a community effort. It's kind of a community undertaking. A big task, but a lot in the works coming up. Can't say too much in terms of details, but I will say there will be a lot more live SMO on the channel in the coming months and years. fr00pl00p holding on to this lead here. Gonna be knocking out the rabbit. Ooh, actually missing the rabbit. Okay. So, Source28, excuse me, taking the lead here. Just some cleaner beginning of wooded movement, and just like that, the lead has swung back into Source28's favor. The script for this one, for anybody in the chat wondering, is definitely an upset match. I mean, I shouldn't spoil it early, but so long as the players, you know, do what they're told, we should see a big upset here. Okay, Fruit Loop looked like having a little bit of a trouble getting that. I'm not sure if she even went for nut clip. Honestly, wasn't looking too much. Almost thought that she was out of bounds, but I think it was just the camera. We're just seeing that consistent, you know, movement, the strats coming out of Source28, the more honed SMO skills. Oh, and Fruit Loop having some trouble with the uproot here. I mean, gamer just not behaving quite properly. Gonna go for a pretty safe strat here, doing the long jump. And oh my goodness, almost bonking into deep woods there. Honestly, was half convinced that Fruit Loop was on the way down into the big dark pit, but managing to get over the railing, collect the Story Moon. Source28 going for that FRS. I don't think we'll see FRS out of Fruit. Just guessing by the PB, but you never know. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go for the vault strat. Should be fine. I mean, you can even do this with like minimal vectoring whatsoever, so very cool. Fruit Loop getting the FRS. You love to see it. Ooh, but a bonk. Let's not make it a level 5. I appreciate the feedback on that, Bert. So I'll tell you that I am the current community manager and stream producer for GSA. We are no longer doing live reruns. There will be reruns of current matches going on in the future, but they will be marked as reruns. So every time you see us live in the foreseeable future, we will be live as long as nothing changes. But I don't foresee that changing. But I do appreciate that. Another way you guys can reach out to us, you know, if maybe I'm not here or something like that, you can always hop into the Discord. There's a questions and suggestions sections. You can ask us any questions you have, give any feedback you want to give. Especially if, you know, we're running a big event, it's hard to get in on the chat. A good place to go. Casual Discord plug, definitely not forced. We're always looking to make content better, make the channel better, and, you know, help out the communities a little bit more. We're trying to run a lot more live tournaments. We're trying to do a lot bigger prize pools if possible. Fruit Loop here. Oh, looking hot on this movement over to the tank. Very cool. See if she's able to convert on this jump here. Bit difficult of a leap. Yeah, absolutely. Fruit definitely still on this one. I'm sure there was a lot of doubters earlier, you know, when I was talking up the possibility of the comeback. And we saw Fruit Loop in the lead for a time. It certainly could happen again. Source28 might want to hit the Battlefield 5, might want to get on the tank gameplay. The aiming not looking so hot, but does convert on the 4 shots eventually. Could potentially see Fruit Loop taking a bit of a time save here, but missing 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. Okay. Unfortunately, bombs getting in the way as well. So probably losing a bit of time with resource there, unfortunately. Well, fork drift fight, also known as the forklift fight if you are hard of hearing. It's okay, we all make mistakes. one of the better designed boss in my opinion. I think the attacks are cool. The overall design of the boss and the arena is pretty awesome. And the music is a jam. But, I mean, you can't really call the music a jam in this game, because literally every song is a bop. Take a look at ! volunteer, it'll pop up with a form, but as I said before, the main things we need help with are commentating and stats. So if you get on the mic, if you have some game knowledge, you can always use help in that department. We're also trying to build back up these stats on the channel, so figuring out, you know, which percentage of tricks are landed by each player, time deltas, final times, that sort of thing, all being recorded. We basically got a one-man team working on that right now, which is suboptimal to say the least. So obviously not a requirement, but anybody who is interested in helping out, we'd be more than appreciative. The more people we get on board, the more we can accomplish. Source28 here, wrapping up the Wooded Kingdom. Definitely not where Source wants to be in terms of the split deltas, but you gotta shake off the deaths, and he's done that. Overtaking fr00pl00p here in Wooded Kingdom, pretty much at the very beginning. And just holding on to that lead, in fact, and extending it throughout. Luckily for us, we've got an insane stats man here at GSA. Mate is insanely, like... The first time I saw one of the spreadsheets, I literally, like, couldn't believe that it was a Google Doc. Like, it was, honestly, like, I've never seen this spreadsheet and been like, wow, that's beautiful. Like, the man puts in work. He's got a brain, he's got some skills. Huge shout-outs to him. We didn't even ask him to do stats for this tournament. He just, like, made a stats sheet and has been tracking stats on his own, so we definitely got to get him some help. Definitely cool to see, you know, how much community support GSA has gotten just in the last 2 weeks since coming back to SMO. I mean, it's been so long since we've ran an SMO event, and the community has been extremely accepting of us coming back into the community. Everybody's showing up and putting on a good fight, wanting to show their stuff, and it's awesome to see. fr00pl00p. Gonna be trying to do some fast hats here, looking good so far. Source28's Cloud was pretty good himself. And fr00pl00p holding it together here. Really batting above their average. Source28 making quick work of Lost Kingdom so far. Nailing the meme tree. Not flubbing the butterfly. fr00pl00p going for a bit of a safer angle, I was about to say, but manages to recover here. Almost taking a spill into the purple jam in the ocean. Not sure what sort of ocean looks like that. I'm kind of concerned with the fact that it's bubbling, but we'll just let it happen. Yeah, there's a reason why it's called the meme tree, and Fruit Loop, experiencing it full force here, gonna be absolutely just indulging in that purple jelly. Nose for backups though, which is fantastic. Gonna be going over here, grabbing a couple other moons. Suppose I'm kind of lying there. She didn't actually die on the meme tree, but did take a spill into the jam. But even with that quick backup there, is losing quite a bit of time. I mean, Source is absolutely flowing through Lost Kingdom. Definitely one of my favorite kingdoms in terms of just how it flows. It feels very natural to be going through and collecting moons in the way that you do, although in a bit of an unintended manner, of course. Not having to fight, or rather hunt down Klepto who steals your hat on the bridge. Taking some damage from the Torpedo. Not optimal, but it is a safe strategy. It's a much worse situation when you let the Torpedo grab your hat and it just kind of flies off into the distance because you're trying to play it too safe. Either that or you hit the wrong rock and don't get the moon. Source nailing the awning jump here. Hopping on that Goomba's head, a nice little optimization there. You love to see it. Managing to grab the swinging, I want to call it swinging in the breeze, swaying in the breeze moon with not much issue. Very cool. Fruit Loop wrapping up that Lost Kingdom. Not the cleanest Lost in the world, but if you're Fruit Loop right now, you just don't want to fall too far behind. You want to keep this one close. It's looking to me like Source's movement is just a little bit out of Fruit's league, but if Source makes some more big blunders, like we saw earlier on in the run, it's certainly a possibility that Fruit can come back here. Oh no, Fruit Loop though, not unfortunately keeping things together. Gonna take a ground pound here into the abyss. Mario, unfortunately, unable to fly, although you can borderline fly in this game thanks to Cappy. It's not quite unlimited. Awning jump, a little bit low on the awning, but is fine. Despite of the reputation that awning jump has, it isn't the most precise jump in the game. I mean, I'd argue we saw some more precise movement out of these gamers in Wooded, but earlier on in the life of Super Mario Odyssey, I see a lot of runners having troubles with that jump. Yo, huge shout outs to Sound Defense. Thank you so much for the sub. We really appreciate it. I am also very glad to see GSA back up and running. It's been a huge opportunity for me to organize some events here on the channel, and it's been an absolute pleasure to interact with everybody in the community so far. I hope it continues in that way. I'm sure it will. SMO community is fantastic. We're going to be running a lot more events too, not just SMO events. I can say for sure that we're getting quite a few different communities involved. The only thing I can really talk about right now is we are going to be hosting the grand finals of the Jack and Daxter community's bingo tournament that's been going on, which is going to be a lot of fun. We get a lot more variety content on here. Yeah, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your cat. GSA is back, we're doing live events, we're here to stay. Another fun thing that I can talk about as well is the, there's an event going on with, we're working on with Warp World and DreamHack which is going to be posted over on the DreamHack Speedrun channel on the 30th. We're going to get a bunch of gamers involved who either haven't played speedrunning or get them involved with a different game. We're going to hook them up with a mentor, and they're going to have a little crash course on the game before we do some races. Should be a lot of fun. Definitely some more beginner level content. I know we try to highlight some of that on this channel as well, but it should be fun to watch. Definitely keep an eye on the Twitter and the Discord if you are interested in seeing some of that going on. Source and fr00p, though, both going to be in Daymetry here shortly as fr00p is wrapping up the Mecha Wiggler fight. I love how much use these, what are they called? Pylons? The cones get in this speedrun, as opposed to like any percent. You only really do... It depends on the routing, but like 1 or 2 of those captures, and just kind of an interesting movement mechanic, I guess. Fruit Loop gonna be nailing that dram there. And go for Scoop Clip, okay. Unfortunately, not grabbing it on the re-grab either. I just want to eat the time loss at this point and go for another moon, but I'm gonna take a couple more laps here. Source28 going for that trumpeter moon here. Does make the jump. It is quite a tricky jump. We've seen several runners bonk and take a fall all the way down, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it certainly does lose a bit of time, especially if you don't know the proper backup routing. But fr00p gonna be finally getting that scoop clip there, losing quite a bit of time, attempting to save very little time. But when you feel you're confident with the trick, you just kind of got to go for it. You don't want to be, you know, going back to the baby strats. You want to stay in the big league gamer strat zone. So we can throw some respect fr00p's way for that one. The Source going to be grabbing a couple moons here. There's one near the end of this room, and then I believe you get one as well from killing the piranha plants. We'll see one of the moons right here. And then the last story moon before the festival begins. Which is, I think, everybody's favorite part of the speedrun. I mean, there's a reason why there's a category called Festival Percent on the moon boards. So prepare your cat jams. I mean, if you really, really want to, I suppose you could use PepAD. Quite a few pretty epic jam emotes, dancing emotes out there now. The animated emotes are becoming more popular. More people have got them. Now that we've got all of the power, the natural course of action is to have a party. So we're going to have a party here on the rooftops. I was told by Troy that apparently there is something going on the ground too. Though I have not seen evidence of that. Maybe we can catch a glimpse of that in this festival. Criminally low amounts of cat jams in the chat. Gonna have to go ahead and remedy that myself. Yeah, I don't know, Troy. I don't know. I feel like everybody's on the rooftops here. Maybe I'm just wrong because I can't look down here. I might have to do some independent investigation later. Alright, Source making his way through that festival pretty easily. No real flubs going on. Grabbing that multi-moon and gonna be heading out of the kingdom now. fr00pl00p. Just now making her way down into the sewer section of the speedrun. I'll be dodging the rats here as we collect a couple more moons and re-enter the festival. Be sure as well, if you like what you're seeing from either of these racers, be sure to drop them a follow. A lot of players in these tournaments that enter, you know, honestly, an insane amount of tournaments. They dedicate a lot of time to putting on shows for the rest of the community. And honestly, some of them are so good, and I just can't understand how they don't get like the views that they deserve, the followership they deserve. So we're trying to help them out a little bit, trying to promote their channels a bit more. Really appreciate everybody pulling through and supporting the rest of the SMO community. It's really easy to, you know, just hang out in the big names chats, but it helps out so much to help out the younger community members as well. And Source gonna be entering the happiest kingdom on earth. I kind of hate cutting his audio, but I mean, we gotta get that festival jam again. We just got it, right? It's illegal not to. Oh god. Somebody actually knows how to turn their audio up on their stream. Good job, fr00pl00p. One of the cardinal sins of speedrunners is... I think it's partially because a lot of people have really bad mics. But turn your game audio up, man. People want to hear your game audio. It matters. I literally have, like, on these restreams... Oh, man. Actually, excuse me, Source getting this moon clip. Babbling too much about production value. Very cool clip from Source28. Saving some time there, going fast. But as I was saying, a lot of people will have their volume to like -50 decibels on their game audio. So I have to have a like +9 decibel gain minimum on everybody's game feed. Oh no, fr00pl00p! That's not what you want. No, fr00pl00p. I mean, we get the jam again, right? We get to jam again. It's fine. This is fine. This is intended. fr00pl00p just wants to give us some more cat jams. Completely reasonable. I understand. Alright, hopefully we can make it through the rest of this festival this time. I would hurt to see another death. But not entirely out of the question. Perhaps we need to start getting some prayers in the chat for fr00pl00p. We're down to 2 life, which... not too bad. Getting a little bit risky on the barrels. Oh my gosh, okay, the intentional damage. It'll pay off if we can make it through the rest of this level without dying, and it looks like... Oh no! fr00pl00p, no! The intentional damage not paying off. Trying to save a little bit of time, but instead taking the death. Cat Jam round number 3, let's go, come on. Actually, this is round number 4. I mean, I'm honestly not complaining. We get to jam a little bit more. Alright, fr00pl00p, you got this. Come on. I believe in you. Oh my god, 1 life. Froop, you gotta make it through. Do not try to go too fast. Alright. Take it easy. It's just barrels. I'm honestly... Ultra Muck S, do not go. Do not go. Oh no, Froop Loop, you're scaring me. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay, we did it. Whew. Whew. Alright. Stop breathing there for a minute, but that's okay. Froop Loop has succeeded at completing the festival. Meanwhile, though, I mean, it's given Source so much room to work with. Source is now already on Snowdram, completing the entirety of Snow Kingdom in the time that Froop Loop was trapped in Festival Hell. You hate to see it, but it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Froop Loop unable to keep things close in this one, and right now Source28 is just running away with it. Perpetual jam %. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if that song played the whole game. I mean, I probably would get annoyed with it after a couple hours, but such a good song. Worth mentioning to anyone in the chat who has not yet heard, Onyx has been disabled on the channel. We are being sponsored currently by the Urban Arts sponsorship, which is honestly an incredibly powerful organization dedicated to getting kids through school, which is a very good cause. And they do a lot of things to support the game community and have been helping us out a lot with our prize pools, helping us run big hype events. So definitely shout out to UAP. If you want to learn more, click the link. I'll tell you all about the School of Interactive Arts, which is where UAP teaches kids the basics to get started on game design, which is pretty awesome and really relevant to the community, so we're really happy to be working with them. Worth mentioning as well, we actually have a Super Mario 64 bingo tourney coming up next weekend, so if you are interested in Super Mario 64, it's going to be very cool. We're going to have a lot of fun times with that one, and we're also going to be announcing another Mario 64 event during the bingo tournament, so definitely keep your eyes out on that. Oh no, okay, Froop Loop making it into the loading zone. I was a bit scared there. My brain is not programmed for the loading zones in this game, so excuse me for getting scared there. Froop Loop apparently knowing the angles a bit more than me. Source, on the other hand, going to be taking out the sea bacon. Having a bit of troubles making it down to the old man here to start the race, but that's okay. At this point, it's going to be very, very hard for Froop to make up enough time to make this one happen, but can at least put on a show for the folks at home. Show off her stuff. We really appreciate her doing so. Very easy to see yourself losing a speedrun race and just completely throw in the towel, give up. But it really ruins it for the folks at home. It also ruins it for your competitor. You can often see competitors just kind of drop the ball and be like, alright, well, no reason for me to continue, I guess. And that's not what we like to see. We like to see Super Mario Odyssey here. So, huge shouts to Froop Loop for continuing, even through the multiple deaths in the festival. We got some guessers in the chat. Fortunately, Nurse Allison not here to bankroll Speedrun, giving out the free subs, but do feel free to throw in your predictions whenever the Bound Bowl comes up. Although, if you do predict at this point, you are probably a cheater, because the Bound Bowl is pretty much over. The Bound Bowl is quite a slow moon, you are correct, but in this category, the goal of the category is to bring world peace, which is basically a fancy condensed way to say all main objectives. So we're trying to, you know, as you see on Source28 screen, we're killing the mollusk boss. I know everybody wants me to say the name, I won't do it. I won't do it, you gotta find other comms to do it for you. I'm just the restreamer. But you gotta win the race in Shiveria, you gotta complete the festival in Metro, among other things. It's a bit of a different goal set to any percent. Yeah, World Peace hasn't gotten quite as much love as it used to recently, which is... okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of that reason why we're running the tournament, and it's also kind of because I've been promising to run a World Peace tournament for probably like 2 years now. So, there's that as well, but definitely an upside that it is bringing a lot more attraction, a lot more interest to the category. Alright, so fr00pl00p here going for Snowdram. A little bit scary on that height, but does get it. Very nice. So Source28 now heading over into the Luncheon Kingdom. One of the most disgusting and unappetizing looking kingdoms you can possibly enter. I'm not sure why some people claim that it looks tasty. Everything in here kind of looks like, I don't know, cough syrup, Pepto-Bismol, plastic food. I guess if you're into that sort of thing, then, you know, good for you. Personally, I don't drink Pepto-Bismol for the flavor, or much at all, really. I mean, if you want to, you know, dunk your corn on the cob in some Pepto-Bismol, roll it around in some salt, take a nice heaping bite out of that. I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to judge the speedrunners. And right now, I'm just seeing a lot of powerful gameplay. Seeing Spewer get dispatched here, which is always nice to see. Probably my least favorite of the Brutals, just because of how disgusting and awful he is. One thing I'm kind of sad about World Peace, you don't get to see Forked Room. Forked Room has some definitely cat jam style music. Oh, and Source28 having a bit of troubles here. Making it up to the Great Moon, excuse me. Which liquid medicine do you think tastes the best out of all the flavors? I mean, what are the flavors we're choosing from here? We have to have a level playing field. So, I mean, there's cherry. You know, I'm not really familiar with liquid medicines, honestly. I think I've maybe had, like, Dayquil, like, 3 years ago. I think they all taste pretty equally terrible myself. Source28 making pretty quick work of this kingdom here as fr00pl00p is approaching the final boss of Seaside. Hello, Habo, welcome in. Yo, did you? Thank you so much for gifting a sub. Appreciate you very much. All the subscriptions and bits in the channel do help us to run at future events. We do have some great sponsors working with us, but, you know, it does help. Every single little bit does help us run these events greater and, you know, more frequent capacities. So we do appreciate all the support, guys. Much appreciated. We're going for a bit of an interesting strategy here. Trying to get ahead of Mollusk here, but on 1 HP, needs to be careful. Go for a quick refill here, okay. The boss deciding to clip through the planet, but fantastic job there. Gonna be dispatching the boss. That was some definitely interesting flipping errors going on. I feel the need to send out a disclaimer that GSA does not endorse drinking any sort of liquid medicine for pleasure, but that being said, I mean, I don't think Pepto-Bismol tastes bad. I've never had the cherry flavor, but I don't think I would go for it. I think normal Pepto-Bismol. The thing about Pepto-Bismol is it just like tastes very benign. It's not very quote-unquote flavorful, and it doesn't have that like zing to it like cough medicine does. Cough medicine just kind of tastes awful, no matter what flavor it is. Yeah, thankfully not, Cat. I kind of thought that for a second too, and then I was very confused as to why the squid tentacles were pouring out through the walls, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes the game be that way. Maybe some room for some glitch hunting in that department. Highly doubt it, but I mean, whenever anything's going outside of the boundaries that the game expects you to be in, it's always interesting to see what's possible. Source28 here, going to be heading up to the Cockatiel fight, the most annoying bird on the planet. Listen to that majestic call. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Throw up in the soup, very excellent. Definitely what we wanted. I think the thing that concerns me the most about this kingdom is the fact that the Cockatiel, the stuff coming out of the Cockatiel is the same color as the Pepto-Bismol lava. And there's a bunch of food floating around in there. I don't know, if you think this kingdom looks delicious, you might want to get your eyes checked. Perhaps you need to like learn how to cook. I don't really know. I mean, I wasn't gonna say it. But I mean, if you want to go there, you're not wrong. Seems to me that that's the case. Source28 wrapping up Luncheon Kingdom just as fr00pl00p is wrapping up the Spirit fight. Oh my goodness, some interesting maneuvering there from fr00pl00p. Perhaps feeling the fatigue of this run at this point. It's been a difficult string of events for fr00pl00p, but just hanging in there. Gotta commend it for it. And Source28 heading over to Ruined Kingdom. You know, we like to give shoutouts in this kingdom. We've been shouting out people all day. We've been shouting out UAP, the racers, the commentators. I'd like to take this ruin, just shout out everybody in the chat room, everybody at home watching, wherever you are. I do appreciate you very much. GSA as a whole appreciates you. It's a very big deal to just be here supporting the stream. And we hope you guys are enjoying the content. All the bits and the subs, of course, help too, but even just being here is a huge help to helping us grow, and we thank you for that. Although I suppose that was a pretty quick shout out. We can also shout out the racers. Let's throw that out there. Let's throw that out there too. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, big friend here, the purple dragon. Gonna go ahead and wait for him to randomly lay his head down for no reason. Might think that's a pretty cool attack, dragon, but it seems like you've left yourself open. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he's got a big job as a dragon. I mean, he's got to stand around and wait for Mario to appear, and then shoots laser beams for about 2 seconds before collapsing. I'm sure we could figure out some sort of lore way to explain away that issue, but one thing to note is that Source28 did save Captain Toad, so that's huge. Dragon has been dispatched. Very good job by Source28. Not losing much time there, if any at all. fr00pl00p gonna be getting ready to wrap up Luncheon here soon, but has quite a few moons left to collect. Do this timer moon here real quick. Oh no! Or alternatively, just take a little bit of dip in the Pepto. That's also an acceptable solution. Uh-oh, fr00pl00p having a bit of a malfunction here, attempting to make their way up onto this geometry, manages to do so. The Candy Mountains have been climbed. How many times a week do we do a versus speedrun? Are you talking about a speedrun race, or are you talking about like Mario Maker 2 versus content? in terms of speedrun racing, we try to do speedrun racing at least 2 days a week. Optimally, we're gonna have, you know, more people involved with restreaming and such, so that, you know, I can do more organizational duties. Because, you know, kind of a one-man show right now, honestly. It's basically me doing the whole, you know, community side of things here at GSA. But, you know, this week we had 4 days. We had Thursday, Friday, we're on Saturday. Actually, no, sorry, we had Friday, Saturday. We're on Sunday tomorrow, and then we also have races on Monday. Days all blend together, I'm not gonna lie. But at the bare minimum, on the weekends, we will have live speedrunning content. We're going to be running reruns again throughout the week in our downtime in the evening hours. But as I said before, they will be marked as reruns. So if you ever see us with the red dot next to our icon in the sidebar, we are live. And you should definitely stop in and check out what's going on, because we got a lot cooking up in the GSA kitchen. Like Fruit Loop is cooking up some delicious pink bird vomit pukes. I don't even know what to call it. Soup? I don't know, man. Kind of disgusting, honestly. Gotta get rid of that bird. We'll see Fruit Loop here collecting this multi-moon at the end of luncheon. As I said before, the comeback is essentially impossible at this point. You know, I hate to say it as a commentator, as a race organizer, but this one is all but in the book so far, barring some sort of major controller or hand malfunction. Source28 should be soaring away with this one. Multiple minute gap at this point. Yeah, Fruit sitting at a cool plus 5 minutes on the Delta. Not where you want to be. Do make sure you follow us on Twitter, though. I will be posting daily schedules for the World Peace Tournament, as well as other events. So tomorrow you'll have a fresh batch of matches. We actually have a lot on the schedule tomorrow. Got 5 whole matches, just 10 hours of SMO content. Kinda insane. But it must be done. We've got 32 whole participants in this bracket. It's a large tournament. Cannot, you know, drag it the first round on for multiple weeks. So we got to cram as much as we can into the weekend. Give enough room for these players to schedule for next weekend, as we're going to have round 2 starting up on Friday, as well as the SM64 bingo tournament will supposedly, hopefully be starting. We'll have to see how fast we can mobilize gamers in that regard, but barring any major scheduling difficulties, we'll at least have a couple matches for that tournament on that weekend as well, which will be 4-way bingo races, which should be a lot of fun to watch. We also have the Jack and Daxter 2v2 NG Plus bingo finals coming up on Sunday at 1 p.m. EST CBT. I get a bit confused looking at my calendar sometimes to try to tell people times, because I'm living in the EU now. I used to live in Pacific time. So I'm not used to being so far off in terms of time zones, but that's okay. I'm used to being a degenerate anyways, staying up till ungodly hours watching speedrun content, so I might as well be doing it here. Looks like Source28 is going to have a pretty good mech here, barring a botched target acquired, but it does nail it. Viewer getting launched out of his cockpit, and going to be taking down the Mecha Brutal with pretty relative ease here. So in terms of running these tournaments, I mean, the tournaments will happen no matter what, but in terms of, you know, having more regular content, getting bigger prize pools, just in general, running bigger events, we gotta get some more community involvement. Mostly in the realm of commentary is where we need the most help, because my voice will eventually give out. I mean, I've done about 6 hours worth of commentary slots today, which is not a huge issue, but, you know, multiple days in a row of that will lead to your voice going out, literally. Quite literally, I will not be able to talk. So, gonna try to avoid that at all costs. Would appreciate any help in the booth that I can get. If you are experienced with this game, experienced on a microphone, definitely type !volunteer in the chat room. We also need help tracking stats for our wonderful stats department, as we don't want to drive them into the ground either in terms of workload. You know, other areas in terms of, you know, helping organize events and also restreaming, there's opportunities there as well, but mostly it's the commentary. To be really upfront and honest, we really need to get the commentary team back up to full potential. Had some great people on in the last week and a half, but you know, people have IRL commitments, and we can't expect them to be around 24/7, so being able to spread the workload around is ideal. No, you're all good, money. Don't worry about it. This is quite literally my job, whether or not, you know, I get paid regularly or adequately or at all. I've quite literally signed up for this, so definitely don't feel bad for me. What I'm here for. And GSA does compensate me when they can, so it's not like I'm being run into the ground by slave labor or anything like that. But we're very much in rebuilding phases here at GSA. I'll try to compensate people where we can. Honestly, it's been pretty awesome with the last couple of LTA events. We've been able to, like, compensate the commentators for their time, which has been awesome. And obviously, you know, when a tournament prize pool, you know, our sponsors give us $500 for a prize pool and it runs multiple weeks. Bit harder to pay, you know, per commentary session. I'd love to sit here and, you know, make 15 bucks an hour commentating or whatever, but unfortunately not the reality we live in quite yet. Hopefully someday, though. AC coming in hot with the 10-month resub. Absolute legend. I'll have to send that through to the higher-ups, that money is in fact intended to get my allotted $250. Much appreciated, buddy. But as I said before, I choose to do this. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to, you know, beg people to help or anything like that. Nothing like that. I'd be doing this on my personal channel if it wasn't on GSA, so I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be working with GSA and, you know, have many more opportunities in the future. Onyx is no more. No matter how many times you type Onyx in the chat room, it will do nothing. Always a good time to plug UAP. I'm not going too into depth this time. We'll give them a shout out later on, but UAP, epic gamers, epic community contributors. No, no more chat spam. Triple X, what will you do? I mean, we can make pretend. There you go. I have to feel more comfortable and at home with that message. Alright, 2D section. Could we see Source28 take 15 deaths on 2D section? We will have to see. Unfortunately not. Looks like Source28 going to be able to move things into the pillar sequence here. But it is not over yet. If you are a Miracle Man, you could possibly, you know, do some sort of rain dance. I don't know, maybe cast some sort of ancient spell. Source28 could still have his console be damaged by a rogue solar flare. Some gamma radiation just penetrating his console. I don't know, I'm trying to think of some situations here where we can help out our buddy fr00pl00p, but it might be over for her, to be honest. As stated before, I mean, if a racer is ahead and they lose a run to like a console crash or something like that, the typical solution is that it'll be a rematch. Obviously, the other racer could demand the victory or just claim it. It's the default, but most racers won't be down with that. But either way, Source28 going to be ending things off here today with a low 117. A very good race time. Playing less than a minute within their PB, which is pretty awesome. Shout out to Source28 for putting up a great race here in the first round of the tournament. Very excited to see more out of Source coming up in the later rounds next weekend. But for now, we got Troops run to finish up here. Ooh, taking out the mech here. Looks like we had a little bit of trouble. I wasn't quite paying attention, doing a little bit behind the scenes button pressing. But it seems to me like Troop was having a little bit of issues here getting up on the mech. But it does, at the end of the day, succeed at doing their duty here, their due diligence. I mean, Cash, it all depends on your experience with the game. Honestly, you don't even have to be like an expert commentator. You just have to know how to, you know, speak to an audience. You gotta know some basic stuff about the game. Preferably, we'd like to get as many runners involved as possible, but not always possible to do so. Definitely an interesting mech strategy there from Troop. Probably not going quite according to plan there, but at the very least, we are heading to the Moon Kingdom. Troop has exited the living nightmare that is Bowser's Kingdom. Lots of places to die in Bowser's, not to mention the mech fight. But we made it through, and that's what matters. We're here, we're in it together. It's very exciting to see all the interest so far, either in the chat or, you know, on the sign-up form itself in terms of, you know, helping out with GSA, because we're very much trying to make GSA, you know, it's always been the plan of GSA to be a community-centered channel, but we're very much focusing on that aspect nowadays. Very important that we work together with the speedrun community. We're not just sort of a, you know, island in the community that happens to host speedrunning content. So, very cool to see all the positive messages in the chat room, all the interest on the volunteer forum, everybody in the Discord throwing in their 2 cents, how we can do things better. We are listening to every single one of your messages, so I appreciate everybody with their comments and, you know, caring about GSA. It's very cool. Yes, that is exactly what we're trying to do. We are trying to get free labor. Definitely not trying to host more competitions. That is not true. GSA actually has me in a— oh my gosh, that was the closest you can get to a fall without actually falling. Group, come on, you can get through this. But as I was saying, I'm actually locked away in a dark dungeon right now on a ration of 1 orange a day and 1 glass of water. So that's why my voice does sound a bit hoarse over time. It's not because of the high amounts of commentary, it's actually because of the fact that I've only eaten an orange and drank half a glass of water today. I'm saving the rest of the half glass of water for later. I mean, AC knows what I'm talking about. AC's been around GSA longer than I have, and I'm sure things haven't changed too much in that department. Oh my gosh, Fruit, stop it. You play with my heart right now. Alright, the final showdown. Bowser about to get a knock out of the ring if all goes well. 2 more hits here. It's a bit of a long fight. Bowser likes to spit fire for some reason. One thing I will say about I've learned over my years of restreaming. Also, for anybody wondering, Source is just gonna loop here because it is a pre-record and we've run out of video content. One of the things I've grown to appreciate is using full screen to watch speedrun races. Like just having the extra screen real estate to be able to see both gameplay monitors and a higher, you know, resolution is so worth it. If you have a second monitor especially and you can put chat on that, definitely treat yourself. Alright, the Halo 3 escape sequence has begun. Halo is exploding, we've got to escape. The Warthog is nowhere to be found, but we do have a Bowser, so that'll work, I guess. Oh my gosh, Fruit Loop is like literally trying to give me a heart attack. Standing on the absolute edge of the corner of that block. Sadly, no 2 DSS for the fans. But we'll get 2 D-skip. Very cool. Very fast. Fruit Loop putting up a good fight in this match, but just unable to clutch things out. Very cool to see Fruit in the lead early on, though. You know, Source definitely making some mistakes to let that happen, but it was cool to see. Definitely a odd matchup here in the first round. It tends to happen. Gonna see a couple more of those throughout the weekend, which I hope everybody's excited for. I hope we can get some cat jams in the chat because this is the jam. Okay, I couldn't see for a second. I thought he legit just like jumped into the pit. I was like, what? Thankfully not. Very happy to see Group closing this one out here. Finishing this one off with a high 125, it looks like. Barring any sort of trolling. And that's it. Final match of the day on the books. Source, Bop and Proop out of the tournament. A bit of an expected outcome, but we love to see it regardless. A good match. End things off. And it didn't break. I was really scared that the third time was not going to be the charm on this one, but it turned out to be the case. Somebody's going to earn a lot of points here because Group Loop somehow got 77% of the predictions. Despite the fact that they were the heavy underdog. So whoever voted for Source28, you got some free points there. Congratulations. You definitely don't have to be a runner to help out on the commentary. Obviously, it's preferred. If you have an interest in speedrunning, I would highly suggest, and especially with this game, just picking up the game and literally doing an 80% run. Maybe watching a couple VODs or something like that. But picking up this game is very easy. It's one of the easiest runs to learn in all of speedrunning, I would say. And the community for it is very willing to help you, very interested, in fact, to help and get more people involved. Yeah, having a microphone is key. Definitely key. Yeah, Blue Snowball, highly endorsed, I will say. That is a great microphone for a budget price. Much better than having like some sort of built-in headset mic or, you know, God forbid, a laptop mic or something like that. But to be honest, if you're really careful with it, you can even use like built-in microphones on it, earbuds sometimes, and get away with it. Particularly, you know, you'd get away with that if you have a lot of game knowledge, but there are options out there. I would highly say, you know, if anybody's interested in helping out in commentary, just fill out the form. We'll be in touch. The worst we can say is no, although I will say we are definitely trying to be more, like I said, community involved, so trying to get more people in commentary if they are so inclined. But enough about that. I'm very excited with how the tournament's going so far. I'm very happy that no technical difficulties today. Really helped things go more smooth. And yeah, very cool, very epic. Make sure everything's up to date here. But let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the standings right now. In terms of matches that have been played so far, Mulan knocking out Jambo, Triple X taking out Danny, and Bugfish taking out Sandwich today, as well as the match we just watched yesterday. We had Sean Hartman, Bop and Sato out of the tournament, and Trobin taking out Ocarina Screw. So we are about halfway through the tournament, a little bit underneath halfway through. We got two big streaming days coming up. So tomorrow at noon EDT, be sure to be there. It's gonna be an epic time. Got 04 Dude versus Wuxfu up first at Bats. 04 Dude, an absolutely nutty competitor. I don't think he'd ever done a world peace run until I basically was like, hey, dude, if you're going to qualify for the tournament slash, you know, have a seed, you got to have a time in the category. Because he signed up without a time. Did his first run and got like a 114 or something like absolutely insane. So definitely keep an eye out on 04 dude. High level Mario Odyssey competitor. We got a lot of other gamers on the agenda as well. We got Stravos, who's obviously, you know, second place in World Peace now, but world record holder for a very long time. We got Xylex, we got Dilly, we got Azharkos, Game Pro, we got SMO David, Speed SMO, and Hey There. So insane amounts of SMO talent coming up. I'm very excited for the next matches and the next rounds of this tournament, but it is time, unfortunately, for us to say goodbye. We're gonna have to find somebody to raid here. I hope everyone has enjoyed the day of SMO Speedrun. That orange and a glass of water sound really good. Yeah, it's tempting, I know. When I pulled into GSA HQ for the first time, and I met, you know, my bosses in person, they were like, you get an orange and a half glass of water, or a full glass of water. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You guys are really going ham on the payments here. Anyways, enough making up potential scandals about my higher ups. Let's go ahead and find somebody to raid. I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably already know who I'm gonna raid. And I'm not sure how many people are gonna be stoked on it, but I'm stoked on it. Let's double check to see if there's any really hot raid targets right now. Oh, I do not want to watch Mario Kart right now, sorry. Sorry, Twitch. I have misclicked. Sag, I was gonna raid the Jet Force Gemini community because they're doing a community race, but it's not being hosted. Kind of tempted to just do a scuffed restream of it right now on the spot, but I think we're gonna skip that. See. You guys want to watch some All Moons, or do you guys want to watch some any percent in Super Mario Odyssey? Question mark. Question mark. GDQ doesn't need the viewers. If I thought GDQ needed the viewers, I would raid them because GDQ does some good work, but GDQ certainly doesn't need the viewers. Big surprise, the gamers want the All Moons. Big surprise. Alright, we're gonna go raid Joe Cool. Joe Cool has been helping out in the tournament. He's also in the tournament. Cool dude. I mean, his name's literally Joe Cool. Well, let's go check out Joe Cool. Highly appreciate you guys being here today. Like I said, tomorrow at noon EDT, be here once again. We're going to have 10 hours of Super Mario World Peace. So be there or be square. We will see you guys tomorrow, and I appreciate everybody for the support today. Huge subs, huge bits. Very cool, very epic. See you guys then.